Hi, this is JD with a new edition of Weekly News Pills, a bouquet of hand-picked events in last 7 days from across the planet. I would request you to like and share these weekly stories, subscribe to my channel and put in your valuable comments. Your comments will be a guiding light in my endeavor. News Pill 1. NASA launches DART mission to crash into an asteroid. What happens next?
Folks, we've got a launch coming up this evening, hopefully an instantaneous launch window for a Falcon 9 launching NASA's DART mission, the Double Asteroid Redirect.
DART is a 610 kilogram kinetic impactor, and its entire job is to slam into the asteroid moonlet Dimorphos, which is the moon of Didymos, which is the primary asteroid. And the goal of this is just to change Dimorphos's orbit around Didymos. And the way they're going to do that is the kinetic impact of DART slamming into this moon at 6.6 kilometers per second is going to change Dimorphos's orbital velocity by 1 millimeter per second. And that's an incredibly small change, and it's incredibly hard to measure usually, except the effect that this will have on its orbital period around Didymos is really easy to calculate, because a change of 1 millimeter per second will reduce the overall orbital velocity of Dimorphos, or orbital period of Dimorphos, from 11 hours 55 minutes to 11 hours and 45 minutes. And that is something that we will in some ways be able to see with ground-based telescopes and observatories that will be looking at this as the impact happens and in the months that follow.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff. Falcon 9 with the DART mission on the way for humanity's first ever planetary defense test mission. Vehicle switching downrange.
Nine engines of SpaceX Falcon 9 rode into life Tuesday, launching a NASA probe from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California at 10:21 p.m. Pacific time. The Double Asteroid Redirection Test Probe, known as DART, is programmed to head toward a tiny rock millions of miles from Earth and then collide with it. Just under 9 minutes after launch, the booster that launched DART into space returned to Earth, landing on a drone ship in the Pacific Ocean. NASA will now wait for acquisition of signal, which will let scientists back home know DART is healthy and ready for its long cruise to the rock. The dazzling night launch signifies the potential dawn of a new era in planetary defense. NASA wants to demonstrate that DART can nudge an asteroid, in this case, the moonlet known as Dimorphos. Of course, this particular rock orbits a bigger asteroid known as Didymos. Neither poses any threat to Earth. However, if our telescopes did spot a killer asteroid headed directly for us, we may need to resort to this kind of deliberate collision. This makes DART something of a test run for a potentially planet-saving maneuver. Over the next year, the probe will power up its iron thrusters and slowly gains speed as it makes its way towards the asteroid pair. The violent rangeover is scheduled to occur in September 2022 at around 15,000 miles per hour. That's like going from New York City to Los Angeles in less than the blink of an eye, said Denton Gibson of NASA Launch Services during the live stream. NASA predicts the crash will be strong enough to adjust Dimorphos's orbit period by a few minutes. Calculations show the impact will bring Dimorphos closer to Didymos, and Earth-based telescopes will be able to pick up the incremental changes. The result will inform future planetary protectors about how best to avoid or shield against a dangerous rock, something the dinosaurs could have used 66 million years ago. In space, even tiny nudges can cause huge changes in trajectories. So as long as we can detect the rocks, we should be able to push them off the cosmic highway to Earth. Dirt is rather simple. It's relatively inexpensive metal box with two roll-out extendable solar arrays for power, a single camera and a smaller satellite or CubeSat that will be deployed right before the impact. The limited number of tools makes sense as the spacecraft is doomed to die in a suicide mission. Dirt will perform its duty right up until the end. NASA hopes to catch the collision's juicy details before, during and after impact. So, in its final moments, the Johns Hopkins University overview says DIRT's Draco camera will help characterize the impact site by providing high-resolution scientific images of the surface of Dimorphos. News Spill 2. When will 5G be available in India?
Why is 5G still not a reality in India? The answer is because the trials on 5G wireless networks haven't happened yet. There are multiple reasons for the delay, from administrative to technological to financial. But finally, things appear to be moving along. The Department of Telecommunications has allocated spectrum to telecom service providers for 5G trials in India. Operators are now soon expected to hit the ground and start field trials. Now comes the next question. When is 5G coming to India? The answer is only after the successful completion of trials by operators and after the auction of 5G spectrum by the Department of Telecommunications. The trials will run for 6 months. However, the Department of Telecommunications is currently preoccupied with ensuring network stability amidst a pandemic. Also, critical decisions on spectrum availability and pricing are awaited. It looks like the auction of 5G spectrum is unlikely to happen before the first quarter of 2022. Don't expect access to 5G services before the second half of the next year. There is a possibility the commercial rollout could also be pushed to 2023.
India's 5G spectrum auction has a new timeline, April-May 2022, and the country has a new feather in its hat. 5Gi has become India's first ever contribution to the world standard for mobile radio interface technologies. The 5G spectrum auction is likely to take place by April-May 2022. Union Minister for Railways, Communications and Electronics and Information Technology, Ashwin Vaishnaw, announced during the Times Now Summit 2021. The final date will be announced after the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India files a report with its recommendations, likely by mid-February. Vaishno also hinted that the telecom sector will witness certain reforms in its regulatory structure in the coming years. Telcos had reportedly requested the 5G spectrum auction be delayed until May 2022 because the industry wasn't ready. It's not long since the Indian government auctioned off new radio spectrum allocations for existing technologies to Reliance Jio, Bharti Airtel and Vodafone Idea in March 2021. Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw also said an entire made in India stack of 5G hardware and software is around 70 to 75% ready. And he expects that by February 2022, the 5G stack will be ready in its entirety. To know about 5G in India, you need to know what it is, how Indian network operators are preparing for 5G, when the government holds spectrum auctions, and finally when 5G services will effectively roll out in India. When 5G mobile network comes to India, they will use a new radio technology and a different network architecture to deliver peak data speeds of up to 10 Gbps, up to 100 times faster than the 100 Mbps of 4G. Latency, a measure of the time it takes data to travel from the phone to the distant server, could be less than a millisecond in 5G network or 60 to 120 times better than 4G. That is all for today. Thank you and goodbye for now. Stay blessed. See you in my next weekly episode.